It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. We're sitting down with the Coconino National Forest. In January, they updated the camping and campfire restrictions around the city of Flagstaff and its neighboring communities to expand those in hopes of avoiding, of course, campfires that start fires and then go into these communities. We have Fire Prevention Staff Officers Andrew Hostad. Welcome to studio.
Thanks, Frank.
And Fire Prevention Staff Officer Matt Engbring. Welcome to studio.
Thanks, Paul.
Actually ran into you, I think, last year, right?
That's
Was
correct.
it last year? Yeah.
Yep.
You were in my community. You were sitting there at the entrance to it, and you had I want to say it was like a sandwich board. You had your truck, and you had all kinds of information and pamphlets about prescribed burning and stuff like that was going on in the area. And we sat down and we chatted for a little while. Let's get to the show. January, last month, we talked about the fact that we are going to expand restrictions on camping and campfires around Flagstaff and the neighboring communities. So when we talk neighboring communities, we're talking about Mountain Air, Kachina Village. Help me out with some of the other ones.
The area around Naval Observatory.
Okay.
Donny Park, Timberline.
Okay.
And then as far south as Walnut Canyon area.
Well, let's do that. Let's talk about the expansion. We've got a map that we're going to put up on the screen, and then people, if I want to see that map, they can, of course, go to your website, the Coconino National Forest.us website, and see it, or they can go and watch the show even if they want to there and see the map as well. But go ahead and kind of give me an idea what this border is, this new border.
Well, a little background there is since 1995, there's been no camping, no campfire order for the city limits of Flagstaff. And, you know, as everyone knows, over the course of the past 25 years, the city of Flagstaff has expanded the communities around it, such as Kachina, Mountain Air, Donny Park, Timberline, things like that. So really this is just expanding to cover the communities that have expanded around Flagstaff and everything.
And we'll probably see that more and more as time progresses and communities grow, that this border is going to have to change down the road. Did this change? Was it a dramatic change? This new border that's surrounding the whole area, or is it not that much bigger?
It's definitely increased in size, and you know, it's now the entire area, the entire polygon, including private and city lands, is roughly 25,000 acres. So that's a pretty large area. You're asking about the boundaries, and so I can cover that real quick.
Kind of paint a picture for me where I'm going to start seeing some of these restrictions take place.
So starting from west, and we'll kind of work south and then over to the east. But the Naval Observatory area, Forest Roads, 518, the 506 area, those will be new additions. It runs south along Highway 89A, and then heads a little bit over east towards the north side of Kachina. Kachina is not included in this order, but Kachina already has an existing forest order that helps reduce campfire ignitions. There's a camping and campfire forest order that's already in place to protect that community. As you move to the east, some new areas would be the 700 road around Mountain Air down to the 235. And then it runs over to Lake Mary Road and over to Walnut Canyon area. Back up to the north, we head out towards the Hutton Ranch Road area, and then up all the way surrounding Donny Park, Timberline, back to the 89, and then it incorporates Forest Service lands along the Mount Eldon, Dry Lake Hills area.
Okay, all right. But that's pretty important. That's a lot of people living right through there.
Correct.
So I was kind of glad to hear that 700's included in this. Now, how far back on 700 does it go?
So you're going to go south along the 700 road, and so for Mountain Air, your community, as you head south on 700 road, it'll be everything on the left-hand side of the road is with the restricted area. We decided to delineate this forest order with hard boundaries. So we wanted to use roads, things that are physical features on the ground to help with enforcement. So you'll head south, and then you'll end up making a left-hand turn on the 235 J, I believe. Don't quote me on that one, but right, it'll be a mile or two down the road, and then that incorporates the southern portion of Mountain Air. So it basically gives you a buffer into the community.
Keeps people across the road, so if a fire does start, at least we've got that Forest Service. And like you said, it does create a very nice boundary for people to be actually be able to see in their head.
Correct.
Because I'm following along with you as you're talking about it, and I can see where you're talking about. But everything to the left, if you were to go down 700 and camp left, there's nothing between that and Mountain Air.
That's correct.
If the fire started, it would have a very easy time getting in that
let's remember some of the fuels treatments that we've done around all these communities.
And we're going to get to that too. Yeah, because I think Mountain Air several years ago was called like the poster child of this community has now had its what's the word I'm looking for? It's been, the forest has been cleaned up, ladder fields have been removed, thinning has taken place,
restoration,
mastication's been in there, burning.
This is just one tool in our toolbox. The Forest Service utilizes a number of tools to help prevent catastrophic wildfires near communities.
And we're going to do that all the way around. So when does this take effect, or is it now already in effect?
It already is in effect. It was signed into place January 10th, I believe.
January 10th.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
all right, then.
we've basically when we take action like this, expanding or putting in any new thing, we focus on three what we call in the prevention realm the 3 E's: education, engineering, and enforcement. And so education is exactly that. We go out and we educate the public. So we've already been talking to people when we find them in these areas and explaining that there is new regulations in place that they're no longer able to camp in those certain areas, and we like to also show them where they can go, because we definitely find it's easier when you explain where they can go rather than just where they can't.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to walk in and say, you can't do that, you can't do that, but it's always nice to say, okay, we really don't, you can't do that, but you can go right over here. And so, yeah,
and the second
response is much better.
The second E there is engineering, and so with that, it's mainly for us, it's going to be posting signage, and as you can imagine, when you increase the area by 25,000 plus acres, there's going to be a lot of signs that we have to put out, and we're in the ongoing process of that.
That was going to be kind of my next question for you. Okay, how do we let everybody know that this border has expanded? I mean, if you drive the border every day, I guess anybody that's within that border, you could grab them and pull them out of there, but that's a tricky thing. So what is going to be done to make sure people are aware of it?
Well, that's kind of the third E, which is enforcement. Yep, okay. Exactly. Okay. And so, like I said, we will be focusing on education because it's hard to get it out to the masses. But we've done things such as this, press releases. It's posted on the Forest Service website. So there's a whole lot of variety of ways we are getting that information out, right. But it still takes a long time to filter to all the public.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah, we still have campfires that are abandoned, so we still don't know that we are supposed to put our campfire out. So we still have that going on. So yeah, this is just another feather in the cap that we got to deal with. We got to take a break. Fire prevention staff officers Andrew Hostad and Matt Engbring in studio. Website is Coconino National Forest.us. Countywide will be back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Fire Prevention Staff Officers Andrew Hostad and Matt Engbring from the Coconino National Forest. CoconinoNationalForest.us is the website. There's something interesting about this. I saw it a couple of years ago. We were just talking off camera when I was camping on off 700. And there was no campfires allowed. And we had one of those gas propane things that, whatever. Anyways, we had Forest Service both show up and Game and Fish have been coming down to help out with the enforcement part of the 3 E's that you were talking about. But you guys, this is you're going to have help with this enforcement.
So let me touch up on the enforcement.
Yeah.
You know that this forest order is a collaborative, and we're able to write up the forest order such that Coconino County Sheriff's Department will be able to assimilate it in their regulations, meaning Coconino County Sheriff can enforce this and write a ticket as well as Forest Service. So we effectively have gained capacity in our enforcement with this collaboration.
Does it work with Game and Fish that way too? Because they have their own law enforcement as well. Is Game and Fish allowed to take this and utilize this as well?
Yes.
And help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. It's written to Arizona state codes and everything, so they can enforce as well.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to hear. That's a few more eyes out there for you. That's for sure. Because I know Coconino County Sheriff's Office spends a lot of time in the forest in the summer months. So.
Yep. And another key feature of this is so there is a lot of state land checkerboarded throughout this, and so it all encompasses that and everything. So. The deputies are jurisdictional-wise are able to write tickets on Forest Service lands and
right. So the partnerships that have created is that now Forest Service land, state land, and city land, we're all on the same page within the polygon that was shown on that map. So all that area that is encompassed within this, that 25,000 acres I was talking about is all the same rules and laws as far as camping and campfires.
Okay, and we were talking about this before the show, but there are several things that have happened in our recent history, well, dating back, I guess, into the 70s even. You brought up the
radio fire
up on Mount Eldon that burned that, and that's never really come back. It's just shrubs and bushes and grass up there. It never did come back with trees on it. But we've had some fires recently that come to mind. The Wallow Fire, that was devastating.
Yep.
The Schultz fire was extremely devastating for the Flagstaff region and up onto the mountains and everything. And we even had a fatality in that one as well after the fire was over, the monsoon.
Yeah, post-fire flooding.
Yeah, with the flooding. The museum fire last year, you guys reminded me it was not caused by a campfire. That was because of thinning stuff going on back in there. But nevertheless, that one really showcased Flagstaff just how quick and easy a fire can grow and get in size. So all these fires have got to have a helping hand in creating these expanded boundaries.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just touch on that real quick with the 2010 Schultz fire here in Flagstaff, and then 2011 Wallow Fire, Arizona's largest wildfire. Both started by campfires. Prompted the Coconino National Forest to increase some of our data collection, and so since then the Coconino has been tracking all of our abandoned campfires, and we're using that for density analysis so that we can create risk, hazard, and value maps which prioritize our resources so that we, Coconino National Forest is 1.8 million acres. Okay, we can't be everywhere at once, but what we've done is we've found those high-use, high-risk areas, and we're able to focus our resources better in those spots with the technology that we have.
Were those areas the same areas? We closed some specific areas, or it was a couple of years ago, maybe it was last summer. There were specific areas, kind of probably almost the same exact outline footprint of this map that you guys have brought with you today, that it was like, you know what?
There's definitely some overlap there, and that was the summer of 2018.
Right, yeah, so we had 6 area closures across the Coconino National Forest. Those were also decided on topography and fuels, as well as the risk of human ignitions. And I think we're proud to say that within those 6 closure areas during that season, we didn't have a single abandoned or illegal campfire within any of those areas across the Coconino, so that was really successful for us.
Yeah, it worked. It worked right there. Okay.
And another thing, let's be honest, everybody sees the past 3 years California going up in different major fires. This is a proactive approach rather than having a bad fire that takes out parts of the community and that sort of thing. We're being proactive in trying to reduce the threat of catastrophic wildfire coming into town. This will not totally eliminate the fire threat, but it will go a long way in reducing the potential for something to get started right near those communities and everything.
I like proactive as opposed to reactive. It's always nice. One of the areas that I think a lot of people are probably going to ask about, you guys take care of the Flagstaff Ranger District of the Coconino National Forest, which is this entire area we're talking about right now. Oak Creek Canyon, when we had the slide fire, there was a lot of people holding their breath. Oh my gosh, if we lose Oak Creek Canyon, that's economically to an area, that's a huge impact. Is there any area along there that is that part of it? Is this part of this closure area as well, Oak Creek Canyon? Parts of the, and I'm not thinking more of the top of the switchbacks to Flagstaff, that area right there.
Yeah, so this forest order that we're talking about specifically just covers on top of the switchbacks. Okay. So there's at this time there's no additional restrictions along 89A, and that's a really tough one for us because a lot of the ignitions that we get off the 89A are vehicle ignitions, and so we need to go back to preventative measures such as one less spark, checking your chains, superheated brake pads coming off people riding downhill, stuff coming out of exhaust pipes. So those are more equipment malfunctions and stuff that we need to be checking our vehicles before we go up and down the switchbacks.
Wow, all that stuff's going to be starting here this next month, huh? Where we do the one less spark and make sure your campfire's dead out. You pack it in, pack it out. Your season's coming, isn't it?
Yeah.
The past bunch of years, it could be any month of the year. We've all been on fires, January, February, even, and everything. So from year to year, it could be the year for it to be any month.
Yeah, we've had our hot Februarys for sure. And Prescott Valley, the Central Arizona fire just a week ago, I want to say, had 3 brush fires along the side of the road, probably caused by somebody dragging something metal, catalytic converter, whatever it was. But nevertheless, it was these little spot fires. But you could see that it's already a possibility up here. It doesn't take long for things to dry. I think we forget that it gets really windy, and that just sucks the moisture out of everything, it is tinder dry. And people, it rained last weekend, but it was 30, 40 mile an hour winds all week long. Whatever that did last weekend is pretty much used up, and we're right back where we were. Let's take another break. CoconinoNationalForest.us is the website. Fire Prevention Staff Officer Andrew Hostad and Matt Engbring in studio. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging uses a state-of-the-art medical digital camera to take a picture and create a map of the body's infrared patterns. later interpreted by an MD specially trained in reading thermography. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging is the leading medical imaging and proactive healthcare, detecting early danger signs years before other tools, finding early breast disease up to 8 years before mammography may detect it. Schedule a scan with Carol today. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging. Say yes to thermography.
From inspiration to installation.
If you need help with your decorating plan, call the pros at the Picture Window. We are your #1 source for top quality blinds, shades, shutters, and flooring. We've been in business here for 41 years, and our delightful sales staff has decades of experience. We're the locally awarded Best of the Best in both Sedona and the Verde Valley.
Don't pass up a free estimate on your project. Call the Picture Window now.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple of minutes left in the program. There's one other order we wanted to talk about that is no campfires allowed at all.
Yeah,
right?
I think we just want to continue on our proactive approach here on the Coconino, and we've renewed another forest order in August, the Mount Alden Dry Lake Hills area, and added an additional 2,000 acres of no campfires. You're still allowed to camp in the area, but no campfires at the base of the Kachina Peaks Wilderness along the Freeland Prairie Road, as well as Snowbowl Road. And that's to help protect one of our most important watersheds in northern Arizona.
Maybe one thing we should mention is if I'm within these boundaries and I am camping, I can't have a campfire, but, and like you said, I can still camp there. There are other options other than a campfire. Correct, yeah. So now there are liquid petroleum gas campfires that you can use. I mean, just simply a lantern or a light sometimes work, especially when it's warm out. You don't necessarily need a campfire to stay warm in the middle of June. And that's the thing is when campfire restrictions go into place and you can't have campfires, we can switch over to the propane. Operated just about anything, right? As long as I think it has to have the on and off switch, and then I can go ahead and take that out there and I can use it in the forest. It's not as much fun for me personally to camp without a campfire, but it is a still doable thing. Well, and I just want to remind you, there are a lot of recreational opportunities across the Coconino. It is 1.8 million acres. There are areas where you can still, camp and have a campfire. We haven't restricted that across the forest, so we would just want to direct you to an area where you can partake in those activities. Yeah, and if it gets too warm and dry, then of course the campfire restrictions do go in place. So, all right. Okay, did we hit everything? Do you think we punch list everything here? Is there anything else we need to? Well, I know Andrew and I always like to close out with the message of drown, stir, and feel. If you have a campfire, if campfires are allowed and you are having a campfire, drown it in water, stir it up with some dirt, and feel it. We recommend the back of your hand so you don't burn yourself, but make sure that it's out completely. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. Okay. So have we developed trash service in the forest yet? No, it's still not there. Pack it in, other than the back of your guys' trucks, right? Yeah. So pack it in, pack it out.
We're not the garbage haulers for the forest because that really isn't a position in the org chart anywhere. So it is pack it in, pack it out. Don't bring your trash and just leave it there. Okay, we've got about a minute left, and we're going to do it anyways. Andrew, you were awarded what? It was a national award for efforts in fire prevention. Okay. But it was for the entire program and everything.
So Andrew's being a little modest. He received a bronze Smokey Bear Award, which is a national award, and it basically means that himself plus the program, so probably us together, have achieved fire prevention throughout the state and have had effects statewide.
That's nice. That's great. Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you so much for coming in, you guys.
Us. Yep,
it was nice seeing you. Yep. We'll probably have you in because we'll be doing a bunch of these shows over the next few months. The website again is coconinonationalforest.us. That's today's show. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.